Good morning, Lee. Thank you so
Kelly.
much for coming.
Absolutely, happy to be here.
We're really excited to tell you about our partnership with Panasonic, and hopefully it kind of brings together a little bit of the storyline that you've been hearing as the other presentations with analysts today around the movement that's happening within the Linux community and the future of what's coming in AI. Do we want to take a seat?
We can sort of.
Okay. We'll do a little seat. Okay. So Lee, why don't you tell the group a little bit about Panasonic's business?
You bet. And I do have a show and tell item, but we'll save that for later. So Panasonic Connect, where I'm working, is one of the 7 companies within Panasonic. So Panasonic is a conglomerate, $54 billion company, 230,000 employees. B2C, B2B, they kind of do it all. Panasonic Connect sitting within, and that's where we get into kind of the display over there. Panasonic Connect sitting within or under that umbrella of Panasonic Holdings, 7.7 billion in revenue, 30,000 employees globally. We are very much B2B focused, and altogether the Panasonic companies have a total R&D investment fund of around 3.6 billion. And when you look at what that fund is actually used for, there's really 3 things that pop up, and that's automation, AI, and digital transformation. And so certainly, as we look at our strategies for the future and how we're going to grow as a company, it's specifically in those 3 areas.
Well, that's really exciting. And so I'm going to give you an opportunity to do a little bit of your show and tell now with being able to show one of the devices, one of many.
Yes.
And I think it would be great if you could kind of describe a little bit about the modularity that you have in the design, which is allowing you a great amount of flexibility to meet different industry needs.
Certainly. So Panasonic, in terms of our development process, is very different than anyone else that's in the rugged space. Everything we do is custom. We spend a lot of time with customers, understanding what customers' needs are, and we develop devices, such as the one that I'm holding right here, that is really designed around the exact use case that customer, the way in which it'll be used in the field. Now that may be a field environment, literally field operations. It could be out on an oil rig somewhere. It could be repairing a utility equipment somewhere in the middle of the country. Or across the globe for that matter, or it could be for a DoD or MOD soldier in the field that's on, in a mission, or it may be in a factory on a factory floor, in that type of an environment. The key thing that separates us from others is the modularity. So when we talk with customers, we learn about all the different things that they're going to need, from specific image recognition technology that needs to be built into the device, card readers, various security capabilities that they'll need based upon their industry requirements. And everything is designed then, not off the shelf, but designed after that from a manufacturing perspective. So when the customer gets the device in hand, what they're getting is something that meets their exact needs based upon how those field workers or factory workers may be using this end device.
That's really interesting. So given the fact that it is such an end user element, and for most of the folks, if we opened it up, they would say, hey, it kind of looks a little bit like what's right in front of me as I'm trying to take notes. But I think what's really kind of interesting is that you would think that means that this is traditionally kind of a Windows-based system. So why the shift to Linux?
Interesting that you asked that question. So, as we look out at our customers and we're looking at what our customers are needing, we have definitely seen, I would say, a shift in that. And that shift, you could quantify it in terms of security requirements and certainly concerns around security.
Yeah.
And if you look at, sorry, and I didn't do a really great job at explaining, but on the far right there, the various marketplaces or industries, those are the areas that we focus with these types of devices. Actually, the top 3, so supply chain, public services, and in infrastructure. And in all of those areas, security is absolute tantamount. They're very, very concerned about that. So when we talk to our customers, and myself and my colleagues spend a lot of time in the field visiting with customers and understanding not only their needs of today, but 3 years and 5 years out, what they're going to be needing. Security always comes up, flexibility comes up, management is always a top priority, and the ability to ensure reliability. So this is the type of a device that has to work every time, all the time. If this device doesn't function, a mission could fail. You could have people without power. I mean, there's so many ways in which these devices are absolutely critical for our customers, and many of them are RHEL customers as well.
Awesome. So I'm going to make you actually show the screen now, because my friends in the Red Hat Enterprise Linux space would be sad if you didn't.
Yes.
Because it has the big number 10 on it. So do you want to give the team a little bit of some context on the excitement that Panasonic has had around moving to RHEL 10 as part of your launch and go to market with us?
Certainly. Well, I am very pleased and excited to announce that we are the one and only rugged devices on the market today featuring RHEL 10. We're already certified with RHEL 10. Yeah. So it was a big effort in Japan for us to be able to do this, and we're really excited with the partnership that we have with Red Hat. And we think that these devices, again, they will meet the needs of, again, as I mentioned, sort of factory workers, so in that manufacturing area, so whether it's the factory floor where devices like this are needed, or in field operations, again, across the globe. This device is actually a 2-in-1, so it's a tablet plus a keyboard, so a wide variety of use cases when you're running RHEL on an end-user device.
Excellent. And so as part of this strategy, as we've been working through this together for at least a year,
or more.
At least a year or more. It's been a journey of love and partnership for sure. Can you give the audience a little bit of an understanding of why you think that partnering with us and the movement to Linux over the Windows-based environment you've had is going to help with the growth plan at Panasonic?
Very good question, and actually very easy to answer. We didn't pick Red Hat. Our customers picked Red Hat. So as we looked out, and again, much of my job is related to spending time with customers, understanding their current needs, understanding their future needs, their growth plans. We spend a lot of time looking at industry trends and understanding where the market is going. And it became very apparent to us very early on that a relationship with Red Hat was going to be critical for our long-term success. And so, you know, from what we've heard from our customers, again, is topics around security, topics around support being so critical in their particular, various verticals that they're focused on, and stability, and wanting to work with innovative partners. Again, this device is, like all of our devices, is designed really for the future. So we're always trying to stay ideally 1 step or 2 steps ahead of our customers in terms of what their needs are going to be. And that, again, was some of the areas where we were so excited to work with Red Hat. And certainly with RHEL 10 and, for example, image mode, that's very exciting for us. You know, devices like this will be deployed in the thousands. And so the ability to manage and basically for deployment as well, but in order to handle all that, we think that image mode may be a really valuable tool.
Yeah. I think that's great. And I think maybe one of the use cases that I know we have seen, we've actually had demonstrations at different trade shows in the market to kind of showcase it, to kind of help give a little bit of context to them. So when we talk about the field operator, so there's examples where you have drones. There's drones that are out, unmanned devices, right? Out in the fields, whether you're a utility worker trying to check power lines to make sure we're ready and able to have power as consumers when there's a natural disaster, or it could be drones within the context of helping with public safety. All of those drones still have to be managed by someone. And so if we just take the one example on like the utility, we know that what we're seeing as part of this design is that those drones have Red Hat Device Edge and the image mode from Red Hat Enterprise Linux on it. And then the management plane is being deployed, and this is being used as a device in order to manage all of those unmanned drones in the environment. So this is like a very critical device to the overall ecosystem on how people think about the way that they're using edge compute in the future, how they're thinking about the use of Linux in this space, the security for sure, and the manageability. Are there other examples that you have seen with your customers or talking that you wanted to share with the group?
Well, certainly, I would say widely across. I mean, it's a good example. I guess a good example would be we've seen deployment of RHEL widely across in the government space.
Yes, government for sure.
Yeah, and what's interesting, to be a bit transparent about it, is we've historically sold these types of device into that marketplace for 10 years and more. And when we've met with those customers, what we've found is the other operating system that we would have installed on those devices, they were quickly removing and installing RHEL.
Yeah.
So again, a clear example of how, from a security perspective, from a manageability and flexibility perspective, RHEL, is really at the top of its game.
Yeah, and I think this is great that you're taking customer feedback, because what it means is that now, instead of them having to buy the device, pay for that other operating system, and then wipe it and put something new on, we're going to be doing factory installed Linux on the devices. So as part of your ship to order business, that is just going to streamline the supply chain and make the consumption so much easier for your customer base.
Exactly. And actually, one thing to add to that, once we developed or started the relationship with Red Hat, one of the critical elements from our engineering organization in Japan was to get the certification completed right away across all of our devices.
Yeah.
And the main reason being is one of our, the ethos for Panasonic is to focus on customers and to ensure that we're meeting customers' needs at all steps in that process. And we wanted to be able to ensure that a customer could get a device and have it out in the field or on the factory floor as fast as possible. And so that certification process allows us and allows our customers to know that this device is ready to go from the moment it's in their hands. So we internally in Japan at Panasonic, we refer to it as these are RHEL ready devices.
Excellent. So we have a few minutes left, and it's a big conversation. So I figure we should probably pivot to everyone's favorite conversation, which is the world of AI.
Certainly.
So I know that Panasonic is starting to look at the move into AI, and I would love for you to kind of share the movement to Linux, and how that is enabling your move into the AI space.
Sure, yeah. Actually, let me pivot slightly, and I'll say that beyond the relationship, the strategic relationship that we have with Red Hat, another very critical relationship that we have is with Intel.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We should mention.
Yes, and we've been working with, and this device actually has an Intel NPU in it, so for AI purposes. But the relationship, so we are by no means the largest device manufacturer out there, obviously, but the relationship we have with Intel is very unique in the sense that we're basically pushing the envelope on all of Red Hat's, on all of Intel's silicon. So everything that we're doing is maybe to some degree extreme. So we will work with devices under extreme heat, under extreme cold. We're testing water immersion, drop tests, although I won't drop it here. But needless to say, the point being is Intel is always very interested in what we're doing. And so I think as we're looking out into the future, and as AI is such a critical element, not only for our growth strategy, but obviously for our customers' needs, it's kind of that collaborative element between Red Hat, Intel, and ourselves on the device side that we're certainly very excited about. Yeah, AI at the edge is going to be critical, whether you're on a factory floor or you're in field operations for a utility or oil and gas or a military operation, et cetera. And so we want to ensure that these devices can offer that AI capability at the edge. So where work is done or where a mission needs to be completed, for example.
Absolutely. So Intel's Neural Processing Unit, that's what the NPU stands for, just in case the audience doesn't know.
Yep.
So the Neural Processing Unit is part of the physical board that you actually manufacture in this type of device, as well as many of other form factor sizes, if you will. And I know for Red Hat, we've done a lot of work. There was an announcement that we had with Intel yesterday. The NPU is definitely something that works very much in the edge space. It becomes really important, especially for computer vision.
Yep.
So when I think about the use cases, even like the one that I mentioned around using this almost as the control plane for the unmanned devices, if you think about it in the AI context, what that means is the model, while it may be built in the hybrid cloud, could be built in the data center, in the public cloud. When it gets deployed, it will be deployed here first as the way to kind of like structure it and get it ready for deployment out into the unmanned devices. And so this becomes a really important value chain as we think about how models are built and how they're deployed and then managed. And leveraging our partnership with Panasonic becomes really important as we think about starting to expose the world that the operations, critical operations has to Linux, and how to kind of bring more than just the typical co-pilot into this space.
Exactly. Yeah.
Excellent. So beyond that, I'm kind of curious if you have anything else that you want to share with the group around our plans for the future and what we're intending to kind of look at doing with making announcements around some of our efforts.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think that, so again, if you look back at our list of various markets there, supply chain is an area that I think you'll definitely see us focusing on more. I think there are a lot of opportunities as we look at that combination of silicon from Intel, the RHEL 10 operating system, our devices in a factory floor or for automation within factories. It becomes critical to have these types of devices, again, with the AI at the edge capability, whether it's for image recognition using one of our advanced cameras, or again, some of the use cases that Kelly had also mentioned. So yeah, we're very excited to have the relationship that we have with Red Hat, and really looking forward to doubling down on our efforts.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming and joining us. I really appreciate you sharing the Panasonic story. It has really been such a great partnership, and I really look forward to the future. Thank you, everyone, for having us.
Thank you.